Good morning, saints of God. I just want to come on and encourage someone on today. Someone that may be dealing with some tough time, troubled times, trials. Seem like so many things that you keep dealing with that you're facing. And I just want to come on and encourage you that God will shift your struggles when you shift your mindset. But one thing you must understand, that you can't expect God to move when you haven't. You have to move when God tells you to move. And God speaks to us in that still voice, and a lot of times He's telling us things that we need to do, people that we need to disconnect from, and places we need to either be or we shouldn't be. But we must be obedient and listen to the voice of the Lord. I know this morning I was taking my daughter to school. She had missed the bus. And I tell people all the time, for me, that will give me joy in the morning. And that peace in the mornings, I wake up and, I put on my spiritual music or whatever I love. I love, feeding my birds and just listen to the birds fly. And, it's like they just singing, but they're praising the Lord. But that's in my heart that I can see that it helps me to feel how I should be able to each and every day, no matter what my situation may be. And I was just talking to my 13-year-old daughter as I was taking her to school, and some of the things that she was telling me as a 13-year-old young lady. And I see we have so many people dealing with so many things. So one thing I just want us to understand this morning, for me, because I know I was just explaining to her, because she said, Daddy, because I had to put my truck in the shop again. She said, Daddy, you've been putting your truck in the shop a lot. And for most people don't know, I've been dealing with a lot with my truck. About last year, I had put my truck in the shop, and it was something dealing with electrical work. And come to find out, the part that they had dealing with the pandemic, a lot of people don't realize their vehicles, they still taking a long time to either find parts or if they can find a part. But for the part for my vehicle, I have an Infiniti Q56, and it almost took them 5, maybe 6, if not longer, months before I got my vehicle out because of the part, and it was in the shop for that long. A lot of people had thought that I didn't have my truck no more. But I'm saying that to say, I had to go through that test. I had to go through that trial before I can even get the truck out, to even understand and know how much I would have to pay and what it would be. But even after them 5+ some months, it was so much to me to get my truck out. I was almost like, wow, Lord, I got to pay this much. It's almost like when you buying a vehicle, if you know the money that you spend within a vehicle, almost nowadays, people who want to buy a home and try to buy a home, you're looking at how expensive a vehicle are. So I had to pay this certain amount of money to get my vehicle out, and it was over $2,000. And then I ended up had to put my truck back in the shop because it was coming around summertime, and this really my work truck, y'all. So riding in here and not having no air, in Louisiana, that's a tough thing. And I had to put that in, get the air fixed. Then once I got the air fixed, I got it out. Come to find out, my tires need to be changed. My brakes need to be changed. I'm saying this to say that how the enemy come to try to attack you on some of the simple things. But God tell us that we got to trust Him. And when you can understand that it's just a test, and the only way you'll be able to pass that test, you got to go through that trial. So I love to encourage people on a daily basis to let them know that when you trust God, it's going to work itself out. But see, it's not that we don't trust God. We are worried about man. You have to catch it in the spirit. Because we're watching so much of what people do. And me and my wife, Dr. Catherine, have so many conversations. One thing about me, for people who know me, who God has connected me with, because I'm not worried about the ones who either don't want to be a part of my divine purpose that God has for me, or the things that God has placed me to be able to help my people, his children, because I know certain people are drawn to certain people, and that's okay. I'm drawn to certain people, but I try to be a person who I can grow and learn from so many different people. That's even in ministry. I tell people this all the time. Me and my wife have these conversations that, you must connect yourself with other people, because when you're fellowshipping with other people, other believers like you grow together. Iron sharpens iron. But one thing I've learned about life, for me to appreciate myself, to be able to teach my daughters, to be able to teach my sons, to understand that the things that they may be dealing with or going through, to make sure that they understand how to overcome these challenges. You have to have a relationship with God and must have an intimate relationship with Jesus Christ, our Lord and Savior. So as I was talking to my daughter, and I was pretty much ministering to her and telling her about the things that I go through, because my daughter see me and her mother all the time faithfully, the things that we do in the Lord, in the church. But I try not to get too tied up in no name about pastor and all that, so I can break myself down to be who I am to her daddy. Because a lot of us, the preachers and certain people who see themselves as a certain place or a person, they must make people understand that we was just like you. Because we deal with things. David had to go through a lot of things, although at his young age, he faced trials, y'all. It's about obedience, but just because you obey don't mean you won't go through some tests and trials. Many of the most godly men and women in the Bible went through difficult times. And I never try to tell people, even our parishioners, I like to be straightforward. I'm more of I like to teach, I encourage, I like to exalt, I like to lift people up. Because I understand, I've been in those places. Most people who have a name or a title, if they keep it real, they've been through some things. And if you don't be honest with the people, you can't relate to them. You can't relate with them. I know some people make it sound good. A lot of people like to make it look good. One thing about me, I like to reach people right where they are. On these jobs that I go to daily, I find myself ministering to people. That's what we're supposed to be doing, spreading this good news. We're supposed to be trying to help the lost, bringing in them lost souls. If we could just reach one, and that's really where I be trying to reach someone where they not where I'm at, or they have been through what I've been through. But when trouble comes, you have to seek God. The Bible tells us in Psalms 25, it teaches us to seek God in hard times. No matter how difficult your trials may be or whatever may have caused those trials, you have to seek God for his wisdom and trust him to work his glory for your good. Oh, I just wanted to come and encourage someone. But the people that God has drawn to me and connected to me, it's for you. It's not for the ones just want to look past it, because we so to where we are worried about how many views, how many likes, who gonna like us. I love myself, y'all. And I trust in myself. And even Dr. Catherine, my wife with so many degrees and things, I encourage my wife on a daily basis, because I find she cries so much, not because she cried because she don't trust the Lord, but she's been through so much. Even when she went through the time to losing her mother, I had to be there for her, not just because I was her husband, not because I'm her covenant, but because I'm a person who like to be there for people when they're at their lowest, because that's what Jesus did. And no matter what nobody did to him. Even though some of the things he know, he was there for them. That's the same way we supposed to be, church. We say we the church. And we have to change our mindset. We have to change the things that we are doing. I'm not in no competition. I'm not trying to compete with no one. Only thing I want to do is do my ordained assignment. And my assignment is to help other people, because I love people. I've been through the trials and tribulations. I know what God has brought me. I don't care about the people who talk about me behind my back. I don't care about the people who curse me and persecute me. I pray for them, and I will pray and continue on praying, because that's what God has ordained me. I'm not worried about what man say. I'm only worried about what did God say. God has appointed me. God has appointed you today. And I want you to know today that you have a purpose for your life. I connect myself with positive people. If you're not positive, I don't want to deal with you. It's all right to still connect with negative, because you could have a battery. If you got positive and no negative, that vehicle's still not going to move. Oh, I'm trying to help someone today. So it's all right. But when you see that negative, you got to let them know that that positive will override that negative. The same way that light will override darkness. We just got to know how to come together to shift our mindset so that we can expect God to move on our behalf. I just want to come and let you know today that no matter what you're dealing with or going through, God is going to work it for your good. God is a sovereign God, the Most High. It's nothing that we can't call on him. And even though it may seem like a little darkness, it may seem like you're not seeing the things that God has for you, he's only getting ready to work it out for your good. And remember, no matter how dark that tunnel is, when you get on the other side, it's going to be lightness. Remember, I love you on today, but mostly God loves you. And in the kingdom saints, and not the New Orleans saints, we are all winners. And remember that we walk by faith and not by sight. Today, I want you to know that God will shift your struggles when you shift your mindset. Glory be to God. Have a blessed day.